haven't you hit that like and subscribe button yet? Do you eat babies or something? What's wrong with you?
So, I don't really get it. Before now, I would just lie down and do nothing. Hell, part of me still wants to. But after that time I was in with Rewind and Serena, something feels weird. Like restlessness, boredom, and whatever else. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would I actually feel invested in his projects when I didn't before? Did I enjoy it that much? What do you think?
I should have found a better excuse to get out of this.
Come on, man. Who else am I supposed to talk to about this?
About, you know, Rewind?
But he's busy with stuff, like the scripts and all that.
Nah, that's what we've got the trained monkeys for.
Come on, can you actually give me something to work with here?
That Rewind's got you whipped? I've got nothing else. You've known me for 3 months at this point, and now you're expecting more?
Am I interrupting anything?
Nope.
Nothing you haven't seen before.
Oh, that's alright then. Henry, I actually had to call an absent for today. Something about a frog epidemic in the 5th dimension, and he can't get through. Want to take his spot for today?
I mean, I'm not doing anything right now.
You mean ever?
And what, you're busy all the time?
Who do you think deals with the trained monkeys?
Alright, thanks Henry. I owe you one.
Okay, are you just going to ignore what I said then?
I help. I've been ignoring your bickering for months by now. One episode should be manageable.
Okay, wait a minute. When did I say I would help with this episode?
Alright now, you know when I mentioned how easy it would be for your power cable to be unplugged?
Internal battery go... burr?
Come on, I help. Please?
I'm only doing this because I'm running AFK grinding in the background and have no excuses ready.
Alright then, to the studio. There's nothing a child loves more than a sweet, soft, warm teddy bear. You know, until they gain sentience and try to murder almost everything around them, like Monokuma, the ultimate mascot of despair.
And Naughty Bear, the bear that seriously just wants to be left alone.
Today, cute and cuddly becomes cruel and blood-curdling. Today, we rewind rumble.
The feeling of despair is usually a feeling people tend to not enjoy, unless you're for some reason born with nothing but this feeling. Enter one of the most deranged characters of all time, Junko Enoshima.
You see, Junko doesn't really have any kind of tragic backstory or anything. In fact, she had a pretty good life considering she was a famous supermodel, but she really decided that she wanted to throw that away because she wanted to make the whole world feel despair. So she figured it was necessary to have a mascot to help spread despair. Thankfully, she had close ties to the Toa family, a leading face in technology.
Together, they made the ultimate killing machine, Monokuma. On the other side, we have a peaceful place known as Perfection Island. This is where a bunch of human-sized teddy bears live together happily in peace and tranquility.
It's like the Care Bears. But they all just seem to hate this one particular bear specifically. This is Naughty Bear, but he mostly goes by Naughty.
You see, despite how mean he looks, he isn't actually as mean as you'd think. He just wants some friends, but no one else on Perfection Island seems to want to be friends with him, causing his very poor temper to lash out. So most of his adventures are either him saving his island from all kinds of threats, or just slaughtering everyone on it when they try to kill the poor guy.
All the other kids with their pumped up
Anyway, over to the world of Danganronpa. If Monokuma is supposed to spread despair, you better believe he has the firepower to make anyone he imprisons feel helpless and, well, despair in general.
Ah yes, Monokuma's favorite pastime. Trapping a bunch of teenagers in oddly specific locations and forcing them to kill each other for his own amusement. Oh, and I wouldn't advise fighting back, as he will not hesitate to use his basically endless arsenal to make an example of everyone. Like the spears of Gugnir, which he used to kill... Junko Hersey no. Just her sister dressed as Junko. How original.
You see, it's kind of hard to just say what weapons he has. It's more like what he doesn't have. He seems to have access to every weapon known to man, but he has his own plethora of weapons too. His most consistent fighting method is using his claws, but he can also take off his arm to shoot plasma beams. He has access to big heavy machinery like tanks and helicopters, and can even self-destruct, which you'd think would be counterintuitive, but Monokuma can summon a seemingly endless amount of copies of himself. He's skilled enough to go head-to-head with one of the world's greatest martial artists, Sakura Ogami.
Yeah, but despite how high and mighty he actually acts, he's really just being controlled in the background by Junko. And judging by Lil Miss Twiggy here, a few arm days were missed, leading me to assume a lack of actual fighting skills.
Naughty may not have an endless amount of weapons, but he definitely has a big arsenal himself. He's got the basic guns, knives, and most other household weapons, but he has a lot of magic spells from fire and ice, tattoos under his fur that give him a really nifty healing factor, teleportation, and Keep even summon the undead to aid him in battle.
Don't forget his roar. Naughty loves to use his roar to mostly scare others, but sometimes his roars are able to make foes kill themselves. He's also skilled enough to take on ninjas, the military, superheroes, and even an army of robots.
I sense a hint more irony in this matchup now. Speaking of which, I haven't talked about the best thing about Monokuma. When someone in his death game is found guilty of one of his murder games, he turns the whole event into a massive spectacle with an execution. Each one bringing something new to the floor based on his victim.
These executions are personalized for each person. They each seem to be based on their victim's core talent, or ultimate.
You know, that's actually kinda sweet. You know, in a really fucked up way.
You can never predict what these will consist of. He's hung a piano player while their dangling feet play a giant piano, then crushing after they suffocate, crush a gamer with giant Tetris blocks, and made a biker spin in a biker cage so fast in a motorcycle cage that his skin melted and liquidized into butter, which he then ate with pancakes.
Okay, those sounded pretty metal up until the last one.
It's best not to try and understand that, Bear.
And of course, it's somehow the PS3 era teddy bear that makes more sense. Speaking of Naughty, I haven't mentioned his ace in the whole weapon yet. The Golden Uzi, however you spell it. This gun obliterates anything in its path without the need for any ammo. He also seems to have this sort of sixth sense ability directly connected to anyone talking about him. Said sixth sense ability allows him to see anything mentioned about him via some sort of telepathy or vision. You could be outside, the next town over, or in a toilet stall at your local Dunkin' Donuts. Not only does he know what you're saying, but where you are and possibly even the donut you ate that spoiled your stomach. So, in other words, an ex-girlfriend on steroids.
These bears sure do pack some power. Monokuma is able to scale to Hope's Peak student Nekomaru Nidai, who caused this explosion on the roof of Hope's Peak. Taking the size of the building and the explosion, Nekomaru exerted 0.4 tons of TNT at building level. Monokuma was able to one-shot him. When it comes to speed, he could scale to Genocider Sho, who could slice missiles moving 906 meters per second at Supersonic Plus.
He's always at his best when controlled by Junko herself. Junko is very intelligent, she's able to process information like a computer, and is good at using Monokuma to find weaknesses and manipulate the people around her.
When it comes to the bigger bear in terms of his feats, he's able to effortlessly toss around and destroy a giant robot bear, which is about 15 tons and weighs about 4.5 tons. Him being able to casually obliterate this thing would take about 7.5 tons of TNT for this striking strength.
When it comes to speed, Naughty can scale to the aliens he fought, which can pilot ships. When they first appear, they are shown flying to Earth under a second. Now, it's not known where they were before they began their trip, but even if we lowball this to just say they were as far as the moon, this will still be over 4 times the speed of light. Naughty has been shown to be on par with their reaction speed, and one of these techniques of killing is literally speed blitzing his victims by moving so fast he creates after images. The aliens fall victim to this all the same as any other victim. He's even defeated the Galactic Emperor, who is known for traveling entire galaxies in short time frames, making him even faster than that.
I think it's safe to say we have some terrifying teddies on our hands, but they still have some fluff, no pun intended. While Monokuma is extremely deadly, he can only be controlled one at a time. We have seen 2 Monokumas be controlled in sync, but this is never explained whether it was a glitch or not. Monokumas can function on their own, but they're more like mindless killing machines. Monokuma's red eye is also a huge weak spot. Hit that, and that Monokuma is done for.
The biggest flaw of Monokuma is from Junko herself. Don't get me wrong, her incredible mental prowess and thirst to make others feel despair makes her incredibly dangerous. However, she is merely mortal. Plus, she can often get bored of being the bad guy and even becomes her own worst enemy and assists her opposition. It's something about how predictable even her own plans were or something. I don't know. That said, even in the series, her own death wouldn't be the end, as an AI variant of her was created later down the road. Her influence led to a Monokuma despair apocalypse. Even after her canon demise, the world still felt the aftermath of despair for years to come.
Naughty doesn't have any notable weaknesses, but he does seem to get his guard down when he's offered the opportunity of friendship, usually to his own detriment.
One day, after Naughty saged the island for the dozenth time, the citizens of the island finally gave him the praise he deserved and the friends he's always wanted.
And give that about 10 seconds before they fuck him over again, right?
Then, the cake they made was thrown in his face and they all laughed at him.
Knew it! Wait a minute, if he knows what people are gonna do, why couldn't he see it coming?
I mean, to be fair, he is allowed to let his guard down every so often. Also, he killed them after this, so he goes back to his character afterwards.
Alright, I'll let it slide.
Overall, these bears are anything but soft. Monokuma is an unpredictable, literal killing machine with seemingly endless weaponry and clones, while also being controlled by a genius manipulator, while having a weak spot that's just as vulnerable to despair as anyone else, while Naughty is a ruthless bear with more powers and hacks to count, but is easily led into traps.
2 cuddly killers will bear it all, but only one will spill stuffing.
Is that seriously the best you could come up with? Oh well, let's get wild.
And now, let's get ready for the fight. This battle will take place on Paradise Island, and there is no prep time. Once that circumstance bar is loaded, it's time to rewind rumble.
Hello, Naughty. What a lovely day it is. I wonder what everyone is gathering together for.
Hello, hello, hello. It's so good to have found an island with other bears. I feel I'm at home. I officially announce the start of the Perfection Island Killing Game.
Oh no! This doesn't sound good at all. You must stop this new bear before he uses his power to make the others hurt each other.
That breath is horrible. I forgot to mention that violence against the headmaster is prohibited. All right, no more Mr. Nice Bear. Time to make an example out of you. Ow! Hey!
Diabolical detonation!
Did you think you could get rid of me that easily? Take this! Now hurry up and die already!
Seems I found out what makes you tick.
So I have a very special punishment for Naughty. It's punishment time! Take this!
It's naughty time.
Why won't you die?
This feeling, I can't control it. The despair of death.
Melancholy misery.
Wow, what a way to beat the system. I feel offended.
This fight was anything but one-sided. Monokuma was definitely smarter and had the larger arsenal, but Naughty had the more versatile one-along with beating him in stats.
It may take special weapons to destroy the Monokuma, but characters like Genocider's show have shown that it can take your average blades and take them out just fine. Naughty can easily one-shot a single Monokuma and could react and keep up to his whole army. He even had a healing factor and can make his own army if need be. Monokuma does seem to have things like body controlling and other hexes, but these abilities are mostly shown on-screen once and never explained. But even if we give him the benefit of the doubt saying he can do these things, Naughty's speed would make those unlikely.
It's mostly unknown how many Monokumas there are. In the virtual world, it's said to be 10 to the 60th power, but they can be all deleted at once if the AI Junko is destroyed, which Naughty's Roar is shown to deal with just fine. Whether Junko is either in real life or in the virtual world, Naughty will get a vision of where she is whenever she starts sending more Monokumas and teleport to her, ending her fun.
She could try to take advantage of Naughty's loneliness and use it against him to catch him off guard, but Naughty isn't as smart as Monokuma. But he's not stupid either. Even if he did, his speed and healing factor is too big of a problem for Monokuma to pull off as many win conditions as Naughty. This isn't even Naughty's first time fighting an army of intelligent robots and armies of different types, so this is basically nothing new for him.
At the end of the day, Junko loses, showing yet again how vulnerable she is to despair as everyone else is, which is something she should probably agree with. Her and the headmaster of Hope's Peak couldn't bear Naughty's skill, superior stats, and amount of hacks, making the winner of this Rumble, Naughty Bear.
On the next episode of Rewind Rumble.
Well, that surprisingly didn't fall apart, so I guess I'm better.
It certainly didn't, but don't act like it wasn't as generic as all the other ones we do. Now, shoo, I want to go to sleep mode.
Okay, fine. I'll sleep too, I guess.
Rewind? I don't need to tell you to leave. I know you love leaving me in here for up to a week without checking in on me.
Well, keep it up and it might be too.
Hey there. Got any updates on our project?